This is the review that I've been waiting to do. I have 10 fragrances here, and to me these are the best that I have smelt this year. Some are newer, some are older, but they're all newer to my collection. And no, I haven't smelt every new fragrance that's come out, so I just want to put that out there. But what's in my collection, to me, these are all stunning. This is not a ranked list. To me, these all could take first place apart from one, but we will get into it. If you want to find out about these fragrances, you know what to do, ladies and gents. Just stay tuned. What is good, YouTube? Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikey Cologne, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. That is right, 10 superb fragrances. You cannot go wrong with none of these. I mean, I know some people, or a lot of people, have different tastes. So when you see a few of these fragrances, you might think, I don't really rate that one. But this is my personal 10 favourites of the year. And it was really hard because I've got my nose on a lot of fragrances, and I'm not going to lie to you, this could have been a top 30 list. It really could have been, but I thought that is going to take forever. So I kept it to 10, and like I say, I dwindled it down, and it was hard. Remember, this is not ranked. But first off, I'm going to start with Paco Rabanne 1 Million Golden Oud. This is a beauty of a fragrance. This is spicy, this is resinous. It's got that Middle Eastern style twang to it, but they've brought it to a mainstream level, and it is good. Right, you got bergamot, saffron, nutmeg, black pepper, gurgeon, patchouli, sandalwood, leather, oud, cistus, and cedarwood. Like I say, this opens up woodsy, spicy, resinous, and I would say a little bit more than semi-sweet, because if you know anything about the 1 Million line, or all the flankers in it, some of them are very, very sweet. And to me, this is sweet, but it's not overly done, and it doesn't remind me of any other flanker in the 1 Million lineup. And to me, I think that's a bonus. Some people might be thinking, I wanted a little bit of that 1 Million DNA in there, but to me, I don't get any, and like I say, I enjoy it. But anyway, back to the scent. The oud here is not challenging, it's not animalic. It comes across woodsy, a little musky. I think the oud here as well pushes a little bit of sweetness in. It gives this fragrance a very strong foundation. And I tell you what I have been picking up lately. I've been smelling plum from this fragrance, and I don't know where that has come from, or if my nose is playing up on me. But if there is a little bit of a fruity touch to this, which I think there is, to me that is coming from the oud. The leather here is very smooth, very smooth. The cistus carries that balsamic resinous quality all the way down into the base. I do have to say, the patchouli here is woodsy, is earthy, but also I think that supplies a little bit of sweetness as well. So you have got notes in here that do give off quite a bit of sweetness, but like I say, it is not overdone at all. I think it's just right. This thing smells fantastic. I love the way this wears. You get a good 8 hours out of it. It's not a beast mode fragrance, not to me anyway. It's not a screamer. It's solid projection for the first hour and a half to 2 hours. Then obviously as time goes by, it reins in a little bit. But the way this dries down, it's smooth. It even comes across a little bit buttery. The oud here doesn't shout out, but you know that it has oud in it. Like, because it's golden oud, some people who haven't tried this might think, man, this is going to be a oud bomb. It isn't. The resins are one of the main players, along with the oud, with the leather, with the woods, and with the spice. But anyway, Paco Rabanne 1 Million Golden Oud, great fragrance, has a classy edge to it. This definitely deserves to be on the list. Up next, we have a fragrance coming from the house of the Artisan Parfumeur. And the perfumer behind this fragrance is Quinton Biche. And I have another fragrance in this list who is the same perfumer to that fragrance. But we're talking about this one. This is Iris de Gris from the Artisan Parfumeur. If you enjoy green, zesty fragrances, you need to get your nose on this. This thing smells great. It opens up zesty, citrusy, very fresh. And you have a pea accord in here. And I know you're thinking pea accord, not as in going for a pea, as in a pea pod accord. But we'll get to it. You got mint, blood orange, pea accord, iris, ambroxan, and galbanum. So with the galbanum, with the mint, with the pea accord, you know that this is going to be a green fragrance through and through, and it is. You do get a little bit of zest up top from the blood orange, and you do get a little bit of a citrusy quality. The mint is pushing loads of freshness in this fragrance, and the galbanum cuts through the middle of this like a knife through butter. It gives off a green, sharp tone, and that stays from opening all the way to dry down. The iris does make this fragrance go powdery, plus this does give off a little bit of a dusty quality. Powdery, dusty, musky, a little bit of sweetness, green, fresh, woodsy, fresh spicy. This is a great, great fragrance. I love it, I really do. It's not the longest lasting fragrance. You get a good 6 to 7 hours, so it's moderate. That goes for the projection and the longevity. But scent wise, this is very safe. You can dress this up, dress this down, wear it to the office. You can wear this wherever you want. As long as people around you like green fragrances as well, nobody's going to complain. But that is Iris de Gris from the Artisan Parfumeur. This one coming up now are ranked very high, and it deserves to be ranked high, to me anyway. It is Guerlain's Shalimar Millésime Iris. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. If you like vanilla, iris, in near on every way that iris comes out here, but we'll get into it. My only gripe was the atomizer, and it is still my only gripe. The atomizer ain't all that, but the scent, see, it gives out little puffs. Right, you've got bergamot, Italian orris root, vanilla, caramel and musk. Simple note breakdown, simple scent, but man does this thing smell sexy. Straight away you do get a blast of the bergamot. It does add a little fresh touch up top, but immediately followed by vanilla and iris. This is very heavy on the vanilla. This is very heavy on the iris. The iris comes across buttery, creamy, powdery. Even gives off a little bit of that cosmetic lipsticky vibe. The only way the iris doesn't go here, to me anyway, is earthy, because orris root can sometimes come across as earthy, even a little bit vegetal. Here you do not get that. So like I say, buttery, creamy, a little bit powdery, sweet, vanillic. After a few minutes, that fresh top dissipates, but that bergamot scent does linger for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then that slowly dissipates. While this is going on, the caramel at first is a little bit present, but the more this dries down, the caramel takes a step forward. Now in the mid, the iris here is where it's at its most powderiness on me, but it also stays creamy and buttery and smooth and sweet, and it goes a little bit musky. This, my friends, is a great date night fragrance. It's sexy, it's alluring, it's attractive. It does lean a little bit on the femme side. I'm not going to sit here and say it's completely unisex. To me, it's unisex, leaning femme, but I don't care about that. If you like iris, vanilla, musk, you've got to get your nose on Millésime Iris from Guerlain, because this thing is a banger. But anyway, deserves to be on this list. Now we have another attractive fragrance. To me, this has a manly, sexy edge to it. It is Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir. This thing is a stunner. And the way this comes across, another fragrance, not a big note breakdown, it doesn't need it. This is gorgeous, it really is. You've got lavender, mint, vanilla, benzoin, honey, tonka bean and tobacco. My only gripe with this one is that I wish the tobacco note was a little bit more pronounced because it's very subdued and low key. But anyway, how does this open up? This opens up thick, sweet, heavy, resinous. The lavender and the mint pushing a fresh quality, which to me, and I've always said this, it balances out the sweetness and it does give it a little bit of an aromatic edge. But as it starts to settle, the lavender and the mint slowly dissipate. The honey comes in along with the tonka bean. Now, this is when the tobacco comes in. And the tobacco, like I say, is very subdued. Like, it gives off a little bit of spice. To me, there is a little bit of a woodsy touch to this fragrance. But the tobacco, it doesn't even come forward. It's always lingering in the back. And at first, you cannot notice it. But when you get into the mid and the mid to dry down, that is when the tobacco comes through. This is when the honey is screaming, sweet, but the tobacco is very subdued. The vanilla is definitely one of the main players. Like, you get that in the opening, it stays in the mid, and it goes all the way through into the dry down. That benzoin, that vanilla, you know, that resinous, balsamic, vanillic duo that you get in fragrances. That is what you do get here. It does come off a little bit powdery as well, the vanilla, I must say that. It definitely comes off a little bit powdery. But this is a great scent. It's fun, it's playful. You can wear this to parties, clubbing. Definitely a masculine fragrance. And if you're in college and you're going to like a dorm party or whatever you call them in America, I don't know. But if you're wearing this, the girls are going to be chasing you. They're going to be saying, what are you wearing? You smell sexy. Guarantee it. I think it's that good. It's a great release. And that is Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir. We have another Elixir. It is Boss Bottled Elixir. You know what? This thing has grown on me leaps and bounds. At first, I thought, decent scent. It's a really good release. The more I've worn this fragrance, the more I think to myself, man, this is actually a very, very good scent. Like, it works. And it's strong as well. Like, especially in the opening, you do not need a lot of this. But this goes spice and incense heavy on my skin. You've got frankincense, cardamom, patchouli, vetiver, cedarwood, labdanum, absolute. Another small note breakdown. How does this open up? Very, very spicy, a little bit sweet. If you was blindfolded, you wouldn't think that this belonged to the Boss Bottle lineup. You would no way think that this was a flanker to any other fragrance in the Boss Bottled line. No way. Incense heavy, spicy, a little bit resinous. As it starts to dry down, the patchouli here is dark, woodsy. I do get earthy qualities from this fragrance, sort of late in the dry down. It does have a little bit of a musky edge to it as well. It's not an overly complex scent. It doesn't need to be again. It works, it smells great, it's long lasting, it's definitely masculine. Like, to me, this has a little bit of a smart side to it. Yeah, you can dress it down, but if you was dressed up, say if you're going out with the lads or you're going out with your girlfriend and you're looking smart, you're looking all fly and you want to smell good, Boss Bottled Elixir will have you smelling great. There is no doubt about it. But this is incense and spice heavy on my skin. The sweetness is not overbearing, but it does have a nice dose of sweetness to it. It's woodsy, like I say, it's musky. I do get a little bit of a green tone to this as well. Not so much in the opening, but once it starts drying down and it's heading into the mid, I get a little bit of a green nuance from the fragrance, and maybe that's coming from the cardamom, or maybe it's just my nose. I do not know, but I swear I'm getting a little bit of a green quality from this fragrance, and it's coming from somewhere. It's a great scent. That is Boss Bottled Elixir. This one was love at first sniff. It is I Don't Know What from DS in Durga. This is a fragrance enhancer, so it can boost other fragrances, give it better longevity, maybe a little bit more, better projection. But on its own, this thing is a fragrance and I think it smells fantastic. This is a very simple fragrance. As an enhancer, it's not going to be a complex scent. It can boost fragrances, it can add a little bit of something to another fragrance, but on its own, and this is my scent of the day. So this one is going on hand. Right, you've got Bergamot Essence, Isoe Super, Vetiver Acetate, Civetone, Fasantal and Ambrox Super. This opens up citrusy, fresh, a little bit of sweetness thrown in, and it's woodsy, it's musky. You've got Vetiver Acetate, which I believe is a molecule that comes across smelling like vetiver. You've got Isoe Super, you've got Ambrox Super. Them notes are musky, they're woodsy, they can throw in a little bit of sweetness. Then you've got the Fasantal, which is a molecule that's meant to come across smelling like sandalwood, and you do get a pencil shavings quality with this fragrance. Like, it's heavy on the woods, but the fragrance is light, if that makes sense. But there's always a little bit of sweetness to it. The Civetone is what amps the musky side up of this. The bergamot lingers for a little while and then that slowly dissipates. You do get that clean laundry smelling effect from this scent. But this is not a weak fragrance, not on my skin. It's not a beast mode in projection wise, but longevity. I've had some days where I've got 10 hours out of this and it comes and goes. First of all, for the first few hours, it's there. And then after 3-4 hours, you think the fragrance is gone. It comes back, it goes again, then it comes back. Like I say, I've smelt this up to 10 hours after I've applied it. I think it's a great scent. Like I say, you can boost other fragrances, but on your... Like I say, you can boost other fragrances, but on its own, I think it smells great. It's minimalistic, it's simplistic, but it's very well done. And it is, I don't know what. This one coming up now is a bold, strong, masculine fragrance. It is Whiskey Nobel from the house of Pharmacia, SS and Rosita. I know I've probably butchered that name, but I tried my best. I love the way this smells. This is a gentlemanly fragrance. There is nothing juvenile about this at all. Like, if you're going to a cigar lounge and you've got a nice cognac, smoking a big old cigar, and you're rocking this, you're going to look and you're going to smell the part. This thing is strong, especially in the opening. You only need a few sprays of this. And I'm going to do one spray and that will fill up the air. I love the way this smells. Right, you've got incense, Arabic coffee, orange flower, whiskey, bitter cocoa powder, styrax, oud, vetiver, leather, saffron and vanilla. Straight away you get that booze, you get the whiskey, but to me it comes across more like a fine cognac, because this fragrance is loud and bold, but that whiskey accord or that whiskey note is very, very smooth. Mixed in with this, it's spicy, it's woodsy, it's a little bit balsamic. As it starts to settle down now, the leather comes in, and the leather here adds a little bit of a smoky quality along with the oud. You do get little chocolatey nuances with this fragrance, and it comes across like dark chocolate. Now, it settles a little bit more. Now the vanilla creeps in, the spice calms down, the leather now is more turned like suede, because at first, the leather is pronounced, it's not rough, but it is a bit abrupt. But once it gets into the dry down, or in the base, that leather accord goes a little bit suedey and it just smooths out and thins out a little bit here. To me, the oud here gives this fragrance structure. It gives it a little bit of a woodsy backbone and it gives it some oomph. And that whiskey note always stays. It's there in the opening, it's there in the mid, and way in the dry down, that is when it finally starts just slowly fading out. The coffee stays, I would say, once it goes into the mid, and then starts heading into the dry down, the coffee fizzles out, and the coffee here comes across like roasted bean, or like coffee beans in a can. A little bit nutty, a little bit spicy, dark, black. This is a great scent. Gentlemanly, classy, elegant, smart. If you haven't tried this and you enjoy boozy, woodsy, spicy, musky fragrances, you got to give this one a go. You do not know what you're missing. But anyway, that is Whiskey Noel. Now, this one's coming from the house of Aaron Terenzi. Everybody knows that I love Homme, and it is probably one of my most favourite fragrances from his house that I've tried to date. But I've already got an Iris fragrance on the list, and I didn't want to be redundant, so I thought to myself, there's a few other fragrances that I love, so I chose Hard Candy Elixir. This thing smells incredible. This is strong. It opens up fruity, a little bit citrusy, and a little bit dark. We'll get into it. Let me spray it. It's got a ton of notes in it. It really has. You've got lemon, mandarin, sweet orange, lavender, mint, vanilla, tonka, nutmeg, strawberry, honey, amber, sandalwood, patchouli, MDMA. There is no drugs in this fragrance. White musk, synthetic Tonkan musk, ethical ambergris, and 5% Thai oud. Like I say, this does open up a little bit fresh. It's got a lot of sweetness to it, fruity. That orange really pops. Now, after a few minutes, the fragrance then starts darkening up. But with this, the strawberry comes through, drizzled in honey. Things start turning balsamic, resinous. The sweet side of things amps up. You get a little bit of a woodsy undertone, dries down. There's always a little bit of spice lingering up top. But when it works its way into the mid, that spice takes a back seat. And when that spice takes a back seat, that's when things start sort of amping up a little bit. Like the oud here, the Thai oud, just amplifies everything. It amplifies the sweet side of things, the fruity side of things, the woodsy side of things. It really is the backbone of this fragrance. The synthetic Tonka musk mixing in with the oud gives this a very nice musky base. Gives it a sexy edge. It gives it a little bit of a mysterious quality. Like, to me, this is a flirty fragrance. It's fun, it's playful. If you're going on a date, you can wear Hard Candy Elixir. If you're going out on the pool, you can wear Hard Candy Elixir. Anywhere where you want to smell attractive, wear Hard Candy Elixir. It will work for you. It really does have this thick, rich, dense quality to the fragrance. And that's another thing that I love about it. It has layers, it's rich, it's sweet, it's attractive. But anyway, that is Hard Candy Elixir. Dior Homme Parfum. That is right. It had to go on the list. It had to go on this list. Yes, do you know what? I've gotten used to that powdery quality that this fragrance has, because at first I thought to myself, whoa, this is a powder bomb. And it still is on my skin. But where I've worn it a good few times, I don't have my nose is adapted to it, but now I'm like, man, this thing is the bomb. It smells great, very masculine. This is elegance, this is classy, this is bold, especially in the opening. This thing pushes. You only need a couple of sprays of this. Again, this will be great for colder weather. If you want to make a statement, if you're going to a wedding, if you're going to a formal event, a gathering, party, and you're a little bit old, not a little bit older, I mean, wear what you want when you want. But I'd say late 20s and up, you're wearing a suit, you got a nice tie on, or a bow tie, or a dickie, and you're rocking this, you're going to smell and look the part, you really are. You got Sri Lankan sandalwood, Tuscan iris, rose absolute, leather, vanilla, ambre, and cedarwood. It is really, I wouldn't say it's a simple fragrance, but it's definitely not overly complex. Straight away, you get that rose. With the rose, you get a ton, or I get a ton of powder from the iris. The rose here, I wouldn't say it's jammy, it's more stemmy. I would say a little bit earthy and woodsy. It's not a jammy rose. Some people say, what do you mean by a jammy rose? Like, imagine jam and a rose dipped in it, a jammy rose, sweet, sugary. It's not that. It's more like a fresh picked rose. You know, when you pull a rose out the ground and you can smell the soil and you can smell the stem and the petal. It's more like that rose mixed in with loads of powder. Now with this, you do get a woodsy undertone. The leather comes through. The leather here at first is a little bit bold, but the more it settles down, that leather does calm down on my skin, and that leather always stays. I do get smoky touches with this fragrance. The amber gives this a musky side, no doubt about it. Once it sort of dries down, that rose has kind of dissipated. The leather's calmed down, the woods have calmed down, and that iris now goes a little bit buttery and slightly lipsticky on my skin whilst staying powdery. But once it's been sitting for a few hours, that powdery side does calm down, but it takes a couple of hours. This is a great scent, it really is. This got a ton of hype, and it gets a ton of hype, and normally it's sold out everywhere. Like, you have to keep your eyes open for this fragrance, because one minute it's there, the next minute it's gone. It's always good to look every now and again on the Dior website just to make sure if it's in stock or if it's out of stock. Look a week later to see if it's back in stock. Just keep checking if you're interested in it. Try and get a sample of any of these fragrances. But anyway, I wanted to put this on the list. It is an outstanding scent, there's no doubt about it. Scent profile wise, it is up there. And that is a Dior Homme Parfum. Right, remember when I said at the beginning of the review that all of these could have been first place, apart from one? I lied. Every single fragrance that I've talked about, to me, is second place. And this is first place. It is Amore Caffe from Mancera. What a fragrance, to me anyway. This thing is sexy, seductive, sweet, creamy, buttery. I love the way this comes across. I love the way it smells. Great atomizer on these bottles. 60ml bottle. Oh, this is good. Well, you got black coffee, amaretto liqueur, vanilla ice cream, speculous, which is a biscuit. At first, one of my subscribers did let me know because I didn't know what speculous was. And then I looked into it, and it is a biscuit. Vanilla pods, brown sugar, and grey amber. This is thick, dense, sweet. You get this nutty, spicy coffee up top, along with this boozy, almondy quality from the amaretto. Now, with this, you get a ton of vanilla. And this fragrance is basically creamy straight off the bat. But the more it sits, the more it sits on your skin, and the more it settles down, it just turns more vanillic, more creamier. This burnt brown sugar accord comes in, and I do get a spicy touch from this, and to me I can smell cinnamon here. Now, there is no cinnamon listed in the note breakdown, but I believe that speculous, the biscuit, one of the ingredients can be cinnamon. Now, so that cinnamon or that spicy quality might be coming from the speculous. The grey amber, to me, this is not like animalic, or this is sometimes grey amber, which is ambergris, can be salty. It can come across fresh. It can come across quite a few different ways. Here, it's balsamic, it's resinous. This fragrance has a thick, dense, I'd say aura to it, if that makes sense, because this is not a light fragrance. Straight out of the gate, it's thick, it's balsamic, it's sweet, it's vanillic. You get the coffee, a little bit nutty, it's boozy, and that amaretto stays all the way through the life of the fragrance into the dry down. In the end, the black coffee takes a back seat. This is superb. This is a 10 out of 10 in my own personal opinion. This is Amore Caffe. If you haven't tried it already, get your paws on it. It's unisex, straight down the middle. If you want a date night fragrance that will smash it out of the park, try this. I think it will not let you down. Right, ladies and gentlemen, 10 stunning fragrances. Remember, this is my own personal list. Some of you might think, yeah, I've tried a better one than that. That is fair enough, each to their own. But these fragrances are solid. They're superb. I love every single one of them. Thank you for watching. Drop a comment down below. Let me know which ones you have tried out of these. Which ones are you interested in? I would love to hear your thoughts. Remember, smelling good's always a pleasure and never a chore. And I'll definitely see you lot on the next one. Cheers.